Here we are, almost 2 years later, and Ruin DLC is finally out, and I have a lot to say about it. I will be talking about the full game and all of its Easter eggs and all of the spoilers that come with it. So, if you have not experienced it firsthand by yourself and you would like to, now is the time. You should probably skip this video because we're delving deep into it. On the day of the game's release, I was actually able to stream and play it for about 12 hours of just straight up, pure, unfiltered Ruin DLC. I would have 100%ed that stream, but I actually had a little thing called wet floor bots that were stopping me from getting the single collectible left and the Bonnie Easter egg. There are still some things I would like to test with this game, but I need to get this video out while it's still fresh in everyone's head. I don't wanna delay it too much. So, without further ado, let's stop the stalling, and here are my thoughts on Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach Ruin DLC. We're getting into the good, the bad, and the ugly. Enjoy. I think we should get into the good first, as we can all just get a sense of what this game has to offer rather than what should keep you away from this game. So first of all, we have the amazing voice acting from Kellen Goff and the voice actress that played both Gregory and Roxanne. Roxanne Wolf in this game is an absolute standout. What amazing delivery on the lines. And just such an amazing role she was able to play in the story this time. Now, returning from Security Breach as well is the arcade games. We get the unused arcade games that were found in the files of Security Breach. All of them except the bully. Unfortunately, that one's still not there. But we get Chica's Feeding Frenzy, and you actually get a cool little Easter egg, Chica's voice box from it. And although it doesn't do anything that actually affects the story, it's just pretty cool to have. I think maybe it could be related to the possible fourth ending that we had found in the files that isn't actually accessible, but let's stay away from that. The incredible visual storytelling of this game is actually unbelievable. There are several points in which the game stops all the barrage of voices and it goes to cutouts, or just straight up that Monty ride, where we see the entire story of Monty play out in front of us, and it's where we see another great Easter egg, Glamrock Bonnie for the first time. Now, not all of the sections have this amazing storytelling, but what it does have completely makes up for the things it doesn't. Now, there are a good few chapters that don't actually have any of this fun visual storytelling theme, but when it doesn't have the cardboard cutouts or the Monty ride, it has things like Roxanne grabbing Cassie, realizing it is Cassie, and letting her go. Now then, the graphics of this game have not exactly improved, but they've been used to a further extent. And now it's focusing more on the horror, so we get much darker rooms, and it honestly just looks very amazing. The new locations are super cool, especially the Foxy Log Ride. I really wish we could have actually gone on it, but it is what it is. We got what we got, and what we got I'm happy with. I really enjoyed going out of my way to get the collectibles because while it didn't actually reward you for finding them with anything that would affect the gameplay or even really the story, it was always fun to just look at the descriptions, especially with the real collectibles. That was kind of perfect. It hinted toward what the lore was going for, and it also just showed Cassie's like brain space while looking at all of these. I really enjoyed some of the ambience. I didn't find the game actually scary when it had all these cheap jump scares, is what I call them, where it just kind of throws all these loud sounds at you and these things popping out at you. I didn't like the bombardment from the start of the game, but the ambiance when the game took its time and just kind of had one or two of those jump scare moments, it was pretty good. But yeah, the start of the game definitely bogged that down. I think it could have been a lot better if it didn't have as much as early as it did. So on to one of the endings. I think the Fazbear ending is honestly wonderful, being as dark as it is. It might be referred to as the Brazil ending if you're someone who looked into the files. But whatever you want to call it, it's the ending where you run up to the Fredbear cutout and put the Vanny mask on. I think this is supposed to be Cassie realizing she has lost her way and taken a wrong turn. And as a result, she has nothing to do but put on the mask and hope that she won't be caught by the assumed mimic. And what we hear is her heavy breathing as, in her mind, she goes to a better place. Such a great end, in my opinion. Now, of course, if you are watching any of my streams for this game, you will know that I had some very negative feelings toward the game pretty much most of the time. And of course, a good chunk of my own stream complaints were pretty much just like cope or baby rage, if you will. Although I do believe that what I am about to mention should be taken into consideration at the very least. There is a huge lack of replayability when it comes to this game. Once you have the secrets and have actually like explored the very little amount of Pizzaplex there's absolutely nothing to do. I tried implementing some challenges on stream not too long ago, and I had zero fun while trying to play the game that way. There's not a whole lot you can do to experiment with the game, and that's really what I wanted from this game. As much as I knew it wasn't gonna happen, I really wanted some experimentability with this game. And unfortunately, it's not here. Now then, the glitch rabbit sections are actually some of my least favorite parts in the game. I don't really enjoy the way he works. Putting on your mask is kind of inconsequential as long as he doesn't teleport in front of you, because that's when he will spawn the animatronics. And even then, the thing that is wrong with that is that the animatronics either kill you by insta-teleporting and grabbing you, or they teleport near you and they can just never catch you. They are so incredibly slow, and they are even less of a threat than they were in Security Breach. It is incredibly disappointing how I have not seen any of them run except in the scripted sections. But most of all, I despise the massive hitboxes that the animatronics have. And they will magnet arm you into their grasp and kill you. It is kind of ridiculous, and it's why the teleporting animatronics is such a huge problem. Now, this isn't actually a real complaint, but having to kill Roxy in the game's main story is not something I wanted to do. On stream, I actually was about to have a mental breakdown. I was so sad. Obviously, this is all played for laughs right now, but I really didn't enjoy that part of the game. This isn't a real complaint, of course. I will say that again. This is just me wanting to rant about not wanting to actually hurt Roxy in that moment. That was really sad. Now on to an actual issue. Cassie is so goddamn slow. She is actually half the speed of Gregory. And Gregory gets a speed boost in Security Breach. What does Cassie get? No extra stamina, no extra speed, nothing. She gets the main equipment and it is done. The game does not do anything more with Cassie at that point. An actual criticism for the story is that it is way too obvious, for Fnaf fans specifically, that Gregory is not who he says he is. If you are a Fnaf fan who tries to follow the lore, and knows about the Mimic, and has played Security Breach, and knows how Gregory talks and acts, you will immediately recognize within the first chapter that it cannot be Gregory. You immediately know that something is off, and it is so excruciatingly painful to play through the whole story, knowing that Gregory is almost 90% not Gregory, and getting to the end of the game, and oh, surprise, surprise, it's not Gregory. It really kind of sucks. I wish they hit it just a little bit more, because to me, it was so incredibly obvious, and to practically everyone who was in my chat as well, they all knew that part of the story was very lacking. It was very hard to believe Gregory saying that he is the real Gregory, and of course, he wasn't. Not great. Now then, on to the huge problem with me specifically. I hate the invisible walls. I think the walls are simply just too big. But this can't really be a real complaint because Steel Wool wanted a linear game, and they gave us a linear game. And that's that. My opinion ends there. But what isn't quite as forgivable as the invisible walls is the chase sections. The chase sections absolutely suck. They are incredibly unfun. It's just walking simulator. You don't do anything during the chase sections. Especially the first chase section with Chica. Oh my god, you run for maybe 3 seconds and you are already done with it. It is extremely disappointing. And even more disappointing than that, I will say, is the Mimic chase. Because the Mimic is supposed to be the big bad of the story. So when you come upon him, you are expecting something grand to happen. Like in the last game where you come across Afton and he's trying to like control Freddy. It's this big reveal that he can like control the animatronics or some shit. But no, you just run away from him and he fails to get in the elevator or he kills you, and that's just how the game ends. Or, if you got the secret ending, he chases you a little bit further and you press a button and he dies because there's this random machine with a freaking scooper in there. Not impressed in the slightest for those sections. In my opinion, I still think that there is a lot to enjoy even when suffering throughout the journey that is this gameplay. However, the next section coming up is not going to be for the faint of heart, because this next section is extremely chaotic and it's going to be a dive into all of the random lore spaghetti and just overall dumpster fire logic that flies in this game. Take a lot of these with a grain of salt because I kind of just sporadically wrote them down. Here we go. Why is Freddy a prototype? Why is the Mimic canon? What happened to William? Does it mean William's finally dead? Why are there interactables without prompts? Is Freddy real? What are the comics? The comics leave out Princess Quest ending. Does that mean the rest are made up? You can get a total of 7 Faz coins, but why? Why is Roxy a security node? What got Cassie to go to the Pizzaplex if she needed the Roxy Talkie to communicate with the Mimic? Why does Greg try to kill us? Was it actually the Mimic? How does Greg know we went to the Pizzaplex? Who put the Mimic down there? How long has the Mimic been down there? Where was any of this AR shit in the base game? What is Mexes? What does this Chip and Cassie mean long term? How much of the Pizzaplex is actually real? Why can we interact with seemingly fake objects? How long has it been since the Pizzaplex shut down? How old is Cassie? Is she old enough to still be this young, but have gone into the Pizzaplex multiple times to bond with Roxy? Why didn't we even know about the log ride? Why is there a random tunnel leading to the buried Pizza Sim location? Where have Vanessa and Gregory gone to, and what are they doing during this seemingly long passing of time? How is Roxy still alive after being turned off? What are the very ill-defined functions of the Faz room? Why is there a random waterfall underground? Where did the scooper room come from? Why was Chica's voice box just at the arcade machine? Why doesn't the voice box do anything significant? Why can we see Monty's legs but not fix him? Why is there a backpack with the name Gregory on it in the Mimic room? How far in the future does this take place? Why does the Roxy-Talkie work from the other side of the Pizzaplex but not closer to the raceway? What's the deal with Bonnie and the wet floor signs? I'm coming off pretty strong in this video, but that's only because as a speedrunner, I was extremely disappointed with this game being so incredibly linear. This very early bias was extremely evident in the footage, but also it made me so closed off from most of the enjoyment I could have had from this game, and it's entirely my own fault. Because of this obvious bias, I had to re-experience the game on my own, and now I'm back and I have a rating that I have decided on. The 100% journey itself was the worst part of the game, and as I mentioned before, the collectibles are incredibly hard to miss sometimes, and other times, you just have a huge dry streak of zero gift boxes, AR boxes, and wet floor box. It's a very time-consuming process, but I will say some of the item descriptions and Easter eggs make it completely worth it. Well, maybe not completely. It's a very time-consuming process, but I will say that some of the item descriptions and Easter eggs that they lead to makes it kind of worth it. The game isn't super fun to actually play, but exploring the world has a lot to offer, however limited it may be. The standout, best part of the game is just looking around and looking at the environments, the visual storytelling, as I had mentioned. The three standout best areas to go to are the Roxy Salon, Gator Golf, and Phaser Blast areas. They are definitely a treat, although I don't like the Gator Golf gameplay that happens. With all this in mind, and my bias finally aside, I'm giving the Ruin DLC expansion from Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach a 7 out of 10. The game really does leave a lot to be desired gameplay-wise, but what it does have, it absolutely delivers. I hope to find some more challenges or fun speedrun tricks that will keep me playing this game and having fun. Until then, I'm going to keep attempting the 100% speedrun, and maybe I'll finally play Poppy Playtime. That's all from me for today, and make sure to like and subscribe. I will definitely play some more Ruin in the future, and I'm super excited for not only the movie, but Help Wanted 2. I will do my best to stream that game day one as well. Make sure to hop on over to my Discord if you want to chat with me and get the latest updates straight from me. With all that being said, that's about it. Have a day.